Do you think this should be a Christian country?
Oh, I do. I do. We were founded on God, and Democrats are taking them away, taking them out of the school.
How about reconciling separation of church and state, which we were founded on?
I don't think that's right. I do not think that's right. They should have never did that. Why would you take something as beautiful as America that we founded God on? We founded America on God. Why would you try to destroy that and take it out of the schools and try to teach our children something that's
what I mean about separation of church and state.
It shouldn't be, though. God should be, we should be able to say in Jesus' name, you know, and I don't care what religion you are, because if we unite and come together as all in one, they'll find the true God.
A couple of things there. First of all, yes, if you are thinking Michael Schur must have done something terrible to have to go to the Trump rally, that's usually how it works. One of us misbehaves or we do something terrible and suddenly it's like, oh, Jenk's on the line and he wants you to go cover a Trump rally. Okay, I'll go do that. So Michael Schur did the one, he went to Michigan and he talked to those folks. Now he's not really in any trouble. And it's actually kind of interesting talking to people like this because their view of American history and the facts is just so different from reality. And here you have people who just don't understand. They probably never picked up the Constitution. They probably never read the First Amendment. They don't realize the First Amendment, the government can either promote, establish, prohibit religion. It's not the government's job to say, yes, you must be religious or no, you cannot be religious. But in their mind, they think this is a Christian nation and America was founded as a Christian nation and we should all be Christian, except that a lot of us are not Christian. And that's one of the beauties of being in America is that you get to be whatever religion or not that you want to be. Dan, is there any way of reaching people like the ones Michael Schur just spoke with and saying, you gotta have a little common sense?
Yeah, to maybe give a hint or tease to what I would maybe like to do if I were put in this similar situation, is that I would point out that there are actually parts of the Christian tradition, I grew up in one, the Jehovah's Witnesses, who disagree with the idea of church and state being combined. They believe that church is above state, and they believe that combining the two is against the religion to begin with. And it's a Christian sect of the religion. So I would honestly just like to break her brain and say, okay, do you disagree with other Christians who say that there should be a separation of church and state? Because I remember there were arguments about, should I have to say the Pledge of Allegiance? Because it says one nation under God, and that's technically against my religion at the time. So that's just within the Christian tradition. I'm not even acknowledging the fact that this is a country full of a number of wonderful different religions and lack of religious beliefs as well that don't follow any sort of tradition. So she really kind of shows what she's really about there when she says, it's okay, we'll all unite as one and eventually they'll find the true God. You want your God to be number one here.
Well, and she also underscores it when Michael Schur asks her about people who are Jewish. Watch.
You know, let's say I'm a Jewish dad and I send my Jewish daughter to school and she's made to pray to somebody else's God. Do you see that as constitutional?
If I was the father and I didn't want her to pray to somebody else's God, I would take her out of that school.
But what if it's a public school?
I would take her out of the public school.
And then what are his options?
Homeschool.
So if you don't believe in Jesus, homeschooling is probably better?
It's better. Why don't people believe in Jesus?
Well, why do so many people believe in Jesus, right? I mean, it works both ways. And that's one of the great things, again, about our founding fathers and their view. They got a lot of things right, they got some things wrong. But their view that there should be a separation of church and state, it's not up to the government to decide whether you believe in Jesus or believe in something else or believe in the super universe or believe that plants can talk to you. You can believe whatever you want. You just can't impose that on other people in schools, in the public square, in government activities. That's what this is all about. But I don't know, maybe someday, maybe we will have some people who will be re-educated on this, Dan.
Yeah, that's the hope, maybe, but it's not seeming likely in the future.
Yeah, good reasons to be pessimistic, particularly if you go to a Trump rally. I think Donald Trump feeds on people who are uninformed and uneducated. In any case.